as you can tell, I am in a place that is not my usual filming setup. I am actually in Greece at the moment. If you've been watching my vlogs, you should know that I'm here on holiday and it's so lovely here. It's amazing, it's sunny, it's warm. So what better video to film than an autumn beauty one? I'm kidding, obviously that is completely inappropriate, but in the UK it is currently autumn and there's so many amazing new autumn releases out and autumn launches, and I just love autumn makeup. I love the colours and the products. It's just a really good time, I think, for beauty releases. So today I'm going to do a bit of a haul slash new launches slash impressions kind of video. So I've got a few things here that I've picked up recently and I thought I would just put them on my face and let you know what I think of them. So I'm going to start with foundation, and this one technically isn't a new release or a new launch. It's been out for a while, but it has been repackaged, so I thought I would feature it. It's the L'Oreal True Match foundation and it looks completely different to how it used to. I know that in the US they also have a completely different packaging, but now it comes in a slightly thinner tube and it has a pump as well. I think it came with a pump before, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never actually tried this properly, and a lot of people say it's an amazing foundation, especially for one in the drugstore, so I'm going to give this a go. I got the shade 2N, which is the shade Vanilla, and I think the last time I tried this, ages and ages ago, I couldn't find the right match for me, which is kind of ironic because it's supposed to be a True Match foundation, but we will see how this looks. I'm a bit more tanned at the moment. By tanned I mean just one slightly warmer shade of pale than I usually am, so we'll see if this one works. I think I'm going to pop this on with a brush. I've got my Real Techniques buffing brush with this, and whenever I try a new foundation I always go for this brush. I haven't actually got a mirror either, so I'm just using the viewfinder for this. So hopefully I will be able to do my makeup properly. So the colour's actually not too bad for me. It's actually a little bit warmer than my skin, which is nice because I always like to look a little bit more healthy. It's definitely a very thin foundation. It has a lot of coverage, but it seems to be really thin and just really pigmented, and I think that's always amazing to find in a foundation because then you don't have to really even use a lot at all and you still get an amazing coverage from it. I'm also going to take my beauty blender. I'm obsessed with this thing at the moment. I love it, and just kind of go over and pat the rest of that in, and I love doing this step. It just makes everything look so much more like your natural skin. It really blends the foundation into your face much better. It's actually a really lovely foundation. It's kind of semi-matte, semi-satiny. I'm a little bit extra glowy today because it's so warm here, but it's a really nice finish and it has covered really well. So yeah, I really like that one. I think the pump actually is worse than it was before, or it's just not very good. It's really hard to squirt it out without getting it all over the front of the bottle, which I find so annoying when it comes to foundations. But I think it's a really lovely foundation and it's a really budget price. It's probably the higher end of the drugstore because it is from L'Oreal, but still super affordable. Concealer is one of my favourite new launches of the moment. It's probably one of my favourite new launches of the year, actually. That is a very, very bold claim, and it's from Charlotte Tilbury, of course. I'm obsessed with the Charlotte Tilbury range at the moment. I think she's just bringing out some amazing products and they just get better and better every time there's something new. This is the Mini Miracle Eye Wand, and I've had this for quite a while, so I've really given it a good test. And we all know I like to try out different concealers, and there's lots and lots that I've used in the past, but this one I honestly have to say is absolutely amazing for dark circles. I don't have to use anything underneath this, so I can skip corrector, I can skip a second concealer, just this is enough. And it's actually double-sided, so you get two ends. The first one is an eye cream, and it's a really brightening, tightening, really lifting eye cream. Fortunately, I don't suffer from bags as well as dark circles, so I don't really have the best eyes to test this on, but it makes mine look really awake and really bright, so I love this. So I just pop a little bit of this on before the concealer and tap it in with my finger. I think it's also nice to put your eye cream on right before your concealer because it just makes everything a lot more hydrated and everything goes on nicer when skin is hydrated. So I'm just going to put that mainly in the inner corners of my eyes because that's where I'm the darkest, and then take it in a bit of a V so it goes up to my temples as well. And then I go back to my beauty blender and take the pointy side and just press it in like that. And I also think using the beauty blender with concealer makes such a difference. And that is it, amazing. Dark circles gone, super bright under eyes. I think this stuff is incredible. If you're someone like me that always worries about their dark circles and just has always had them for as long as you can remember, it's such a game changer. I think it's amazing. The next thing I have to show you is the complete other end of the spectrum. This is from Collection. It's a contour kit for highlighting and sculpting. Comes in this little set here. And this I had to pick up as soon as as I saw it, because it just looks like such a great palette for contour and highlight. The contour colour is a really lovely, slightly cool toned taupey brown, but it still has a little bit of warmth in there to give you a nice bronze look too. And then the highlighter looks so pretty. It's a really lovely, slightly peachy, champagne-y, cool tone colour. I don't go all out when it comes to contouring, but I do like to take just a little bit in the hollows of my cheeks to give my face some much needed definition. So I just tap it onto the brush and then get the excess off on the back of my hand, and then kind of suck in my cheeks slightly. It's hard to do this when I'm talking, but suck in my cheeks and just pop it under there. And because this is matte too, it works really well. There's no shimmer. It's perfect for contouring. And then I take a little bit up onto my temple as well, just to give my face a little bit of shape around there. This really reminds me of the Sleek Contour Kit, which is another great one from the drugstore, and it really goes to show you don't have to spend a lot when it comes to contouring products, because I think this one is really, really great. I'm really going to go liberally with this because we all know I love my highlighter, and I'm going to pop that on the tops of my cheekbones. It's not quite as pigmented as some of the highlighters that I've used in the past, but it still gives a really lovely sheen to the skin. It's not glittery, it hasn't got any big chunks of sparkle in there. So I popped a bit of blush on just to give you the full effect, and I actually really like this. I think it's such a great product, amazing budget price, really well pigmented, and just is a really nice tone as well for contour and highlight. So this one definitely gets a big thumbs up from me. Next is probably the one I got the most excited about when I heard it was launching. This came out quite a few weeks ago now. It is the Naked Smoky palette from Urban Decay. There's always something about Urban Decay naked palettes whenever they come out. I just get a bit excited. I always remember back to when the first one launched and everybody had it, everybody bought it, and they're all just a really great set of shades from Naked 1 all the way to Naked 3 and the Naked Basics palettes. I think they're a really amazing range. This one is new and it comes in probably my favourite packaging of all of them. It's a really nice kind of plasticky case. It's got a nice little smoky pattern on there, and then these are the shades inside, and they've set it out quite differently to their other Naked palettes. So they start off with the light ones. You have High here and Dirty Sweet, which are really pretty kind of goldy and pinky colours, and then there's some deeper colours. So Radar I think is really, really pretty. It's a kind of bronzy brown. Armour and Slanted are kind of grey toned. Armour has a really sparkly pigment to it, so that's the glittery one in the palette. And then there's Dagger and Black Market and Smolder, which are the really dark ones. This one here is really amazing. It's like a dark aubergine purple, so I think that would be so, so pretty. But then at the end they have 4 matte colours, which are actually very similar to the Naked Basics palettes, and probably the only criticism I've ever had of the Naked palettes is that they don't have enough matte colours in them, but they're really great to use with all the other colours. So this is a really impressive palette, and I've used it a lot more than I thought it would, considering it's for a smoky eye, which is something that you don't crack out on an everyday basis. I really have got a lot of use out of it. Just realised I haven't done my brows, so before we do anything, I'm going to pop something into there. So I think I want to go quite smoky with this, but I'm going to build it up gradually, and I'm going to start with one of the matte shades. This is Combust. It's a really great crease colour just to start off with, so I'm going to pop some of that on. Having used most of the shades now, I do have to say, I don't think the eyeshadows are quite as pigmented as some of the other Naked palettes. They still have amazing pigmentation and they still go on so easy, you don't have to double layer most of them, but compared to the first Naked palette, they just don't seem as buttery and quite as true to colour as those, especially when it comes to slightly darker ones. You do have to sit there and kind of build them up for a little bit. I'm going to take the darker matte shade, which is Whiskey. It's a really dark brown, and use that in the crease as well, but just on the outer half of my eye, and I'm going to kind of blend those two together so they go slightly softer. I think I want to do a slightly bronzy, purpley toned smoky eye, so I'm going to start with the shade Radar. I might use a little bit of Dirty Sweet as well, which is the goldy colour, and use those on my lid. And then I'm going to take the dark purple, which is Smolder, and I'm kind of working it into the lash line, and then I'm going to use it on the outer corner as well. So this is one of the shades that isn't quite as pigmented as it looks like it's going to be in the palette. I think I'm just going to do the same on my lower lashes too, so I'm going to use the gold and the brown on the inner corner, and then the purple just smoked into the outer corner of the lashes. I'm going to take it down a little bit further than I usually would, just to kind of really intensify the smokiness. These eyeshadows don't actually drop down particularly badly at all. There's pretty much no fallout there, which I think is amazing, because with a smoky shadow you usually have to do eyes first and then foundation. There's usually just no hope of getting away with it, but I think with this palette you totally can. The next two products are both from NARS. These are both new in for autumn, and they are a mascara and a kohl liner. This liner is really cool. First of all, I love the packaging. I know it just looks like a black tube of regular liner, but it's in this kind of metal case and just feels really nice to use, and it's a twister. It's just a black kohl liner, but the formula is really great. It has a really smudgy texture to it, so you can make such an amazing smudgy look with it, but once it's set down, it doesn't go anywhere, so it doesn't smudge underneath the eyes, it doesn't rub all over your face like some kohl liners can do, because although they're smudgy, they stay smudgy for the rest of the day and you have it pretty much all over you by the end of the night. So this I've been using a lot, and I'm not really a kohl liner kind of person. I like to stick to liquid liners, but this I'm going to put in my waterline and kind of smudge it into my top lashes as well. I think it works so well with the smoky eye as well because it just gives a little bit more depth to your eyes, and I'm going to kind of smudge it in a little bit with a pencil brush, just so that it's a bit softer. I'm definitely not one for tight lining. I just can't seem to stand the feeling of a pencil on your upper waterline, so I'm not going to attempt that, but I am going to smudge it into the roots of my top lashes just to balance everything out. So the mascara is another one that they brought out. This is the Audacious mascara. This one I don't love quite as much as the liner, but it's still a really nice one to use when you are doing a smoky eye. It's got a very big wand, but it's a plastic one, and there's not as many bristles on there as you would expect from a normal big brush, so it kind of gives a lot of product, but it also combs the lashes through. It's definitely more of a lengthening one because of that. It also has a few little spiky tips at the top of it, which makes it really easy to kind of get in the inner corner and then right on the outside lashes, which I always kind of find hard to grab with a brush. So you can just kind of fan them out and it makes them look a little bit more defined. The last two autumn launches I have to show you are from Maybelline. These are some new lipsticks that they've recently brought out, and they're from the colour Sensational range, but they're actually matte formulas. I love a good matte lipstick, especially when it comes to something bright and bold, and they have 5 shades in the range, I think, and they range from nudes to pinks to a really dark burgundy red, which I do actually have here. So that one is 975 Divine Wine, and it's such a lovely, quite reddy tone burgundy. It's definitely not purpley, and I find the reddy tone ones suit me a little bit better. And then I also have 955 Craving Coral, which is a really lovely red. It's definitely a red, but when I swatched it, it looked more of an orange. Bit strange, you can never really trust the lighting in places like Boots, but it's a really lovely, quite warm toned, very orangey based red. I think the formulas of these are amazing though. They go on so pigmented, just really, really intensely pigmented, and they're lovely and creamy for a matte. They don't ever set down to a really kind of dry texture. They just feel very hydrating and like they're going to be on your lips and be comfortable. So I'm going to put one of these on, and I really want to use the dark colour. It's going to be a bit overkill with the super smoky eye, but it's autumn and I love this kind of combination of dark eyeshadows and dark lipsticks and then just nice clean skin. I think it's really pretty. As you can probably see, it's so pigmented, and I find sometimes with darker berry lipsticks they can look a little bit uneven, so they can be dark in places and lighter, but this one doesn't do that. I am a really big fan of this lipstick. I think it's overtaken the Rimmel Kate Moss 107, which used to hold the title of my favourite drugstore deep berry colour, but I think now that this is the winner because it's just beautiful. So those are some of the new autumn launches that I've been trying recently. I hope you enjoyed this little chatty try me on video. I always like to just have a bit of a play with makeup and talk to you about it, so these are definitely one of my favourite kinds of videos to film. So let me know if you tried any new amazing autumn bits recently, or if you have got any of these and you've been loving them too. And don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all soon, hopefully for lots more videos in this amazing place. I will definitely have to show you the view soon because oh my gosh, it is amazing. I'm looking at it right now and I want to live here forever. So thank you for watching. I will see you all later. Bye. There's a wasp.